Welcome into another edition of Friar Territory. I'm Kyle Glaser, alongside the iconic Heath Bell, here to break down all things Padres as the offseason continues. Heath, the Padres coaching staff is beginning to take shape. The Padres will reportedly hire former Rays slugger Steven Souza as hitting coach and longtime Major League coach and former player Randy Knorr as bench coach. I want to start with Steven Souza. We've talked a lot about the Padres hitting coach position. What was your initial reaction to the hire?
My first reaction to Souza is hopefully he can do a better job, but it's just kind of revolving doors. So the hitting coach, until the guys actually, produce year in and year out, it just kind of it's a moot point, really. It just really is with the hitting coach. I hate to say it, but it seems like that.
Yeah, Padres hitting coach is probably the least stable job in all of Major League Baseball. We have seen them cycle through coach after coach after coach after coach from all different backgrounds, all different styles, all different experience levels. We talked a lot about Craig Stammen being a first-time manager, and not just a first-time manager, but has never managed or coached at any level of professional baseball, minors, majors, any of it. They were going to need a hitting coach to come in and potentially be someone who could talk to the veterans, maybe with some authority and veteran experience behind him as a coach. Instead, the Padres went with another coach who has not coached at any level of professional baseball. Steven Souza is 36 years old. He was a hitting advisor for the Rays last year. But again, this will be his first time on a bench at any level, working with hitters on a day-to-day basis. Given the Padres went with a first-time manager in Craig Stammen, not just a first-time manager, but someone who had never managed or coached before at any level, do you think it was the right move going with someone who also has never coached at any level as the hitting coach? Do you think it didn't really matter? How do you view that hire in that context?
Personally, I don't think it really matters. You got to start somewhere. Usually, you don't start in the big leagues, but if somebody likes you and likes you the how you talk and likes your ideas, then if they're higher up, then you might start in the big leagues. But usually, traditionally, you got to start in the minor leagues and kind of see if that way works. And but with the Padres, the door's been revolving back and forth, so you never know.
Yeah, it's an interesting hire. So I want to start with Steven Souza and his career. One of the arguments for would be he has had success and experienced failure in modern Major League Baseball. In this age of velocity, he has lived it, he has experienced it, he has on the ground experience that maybe some of the older, more experienced coaches have not had. At the same time, anytime you are hiring someone for a position for the first time they've ever held it, there will always be a learning curve. And I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on this because we know the Padres have some big personalities in the clubhouse, particularly in the lineup. You have some guys who are very, very, very accomplished over the course of their careers, like a Manny Machado, like a Xander Bogaerts, like a Fernando Tatis Jr. What does a coach need to do to earn those guys' respect? Does the fact that he was their peer automatically start him from, a little bit behind? You've lived this. You had so many different coaches, so many different age levels and experience levels. Did you feel like there was an issue maybe with respect when it's a guy that's similarly aged or maybe, just doesn't have that background that maybe you would look to someone and say, oh yeah, there's automatic credibility there?
Really, to me, it just turns around trust. If you can trust your teammate for not like squilling to other people or a coach, you tell somebody to a coach and he tells somebody else that you can't trust. So it's all about trust. It's all about building that relationship with players and, coaches. And the ones that kind of say one thing and do another, it's hard to trust. And the ones that will say, hey, I'll be there at 6 a.m., ready to go. And they're there ready to go at 6 a.m. You can kind of build some trust there and, work on some things. And when you say, hey, try this, just trust me, just see if it works. And the player, actually trusts the coach and tries it and it works, then you can just build on more trust. And I really think the respect turns into trust.
No.
And that's where being the best coach and best player out there can be.
So with that, looking at this coaching staff as a whole now, and the Padres still have to hire a third base coach. We'll see what they do, and we'll get into Randy Knorr in a little bit. But given the Padres are a team that is trying to win right now, their stated goals are to compete and win a World Series, compete for and win a World Series in 2026. Having, as we've talked about, Craig Stammen with his background, and then layering on a hitting coach with no previous professional experience. Again, you understand it for maybe a team that's rebuilding or is, has a few years before they need to really perform. That way the coaches can figure it out as the players do. Is this too big of a risk given where this team is?
It might be. It's just time will tell. But, that's kind of where the coaching staff has been the last, 12 years, trying a bunch of new people out. So it's not something I think is the best idea, but I'm just trusting that, AJ and the Padres are doing the right thing. And that's all I can do, and just wait until the season starts and see how it goes.
Yeah, and on that note, I do think it's important, right? We're talking about all the different ramifications, all the different scenarios. The natural instinct a lot of times for fans is to have an immediate reaction to any coaching hire, whether it's manager, hitting coach, pitching coach, go into other sports as well, head coaches in the NBA, NFL. You need to let them actually coach and manage. Like, you have to give them a chance. I think a lot of times saying in the offseason, this is a terrible hire, this is a great hire, you never really know. You need to let them go out and show they can do the job. And I think sitting here and saying right now, oh, this is a terrible hire, this is a terrible hire, this is a great hire, this is a great hire, it's way too premature. I will say that, again, this is a team that trying to win now with a veteran core, going from an experienced manager and an experienced hitting coach to an inexperienced manager and inexperienced hitting coach, I think it's hard to say they're in better position now than they were last year. But again, like you said, the front office made the determination that Craig Stammen and Steven Souza were the best fits for these roles. We'll see if they were right.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they're right. It's easy to go, well, hey, I want that veteran guy that I know what he's done. When Ruben came over, it was kind of like, okay, we know what he can do with the pitching. Well, who knows what's going to happen? But I'm very sure that when Ruben got his first job, people were questioning it. And then he just, you had to let him develop guys and teach guys, and turned into one hell of a coach. And, I'm hoping the best for the new guys in San Diego. So, you just got to wait and see. Give them a chance.
Indeed, and like I said, we will see how it all shakes out. All right, Heath, we still have to talk about Randy Knorr, who the Padres hired as bench coach. We're going to take a quick break, hear a word from our sponsors, and dive into that hire.
Hey, for all the parents out there with teens, it's more hectic now than ever.
Cash App's going to help, not hurt.
With the Cash App card, available to teens 13 to 17 with sponsorship by an eligible parent or guardian, every transaction triggers a real-time notification for you to see, empowering your teen to practice independence while giving you peace of mind by keeping track of their spending. You can also manage everything directly from your own Cash App account without having to switch between the two. With the Cash App card, you and your teen's balances receive 24/7 fraud monitoring. And if something ever feels off, you have the ability to lock their card right from your phone in just one tap. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use code FAMILY10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partner. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Direct deposit and promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures.
Welcome back into Friar Territory. Kyle Glaser alongside Heath Bell. All right, Heath, we talked about Craig Stammen and Steven Souza. They're coming in first time on the job. The Padres also will be hiring Randy Knorr as bench coach. I should say they will reportedly hire Randy Knorr as their bench coach. This is a different situation. Randy Knorr spent 4 seasons as a Nationals bench coach, where he overlapped with Craig Stammen. He's also served in a wide variety of roles over the course of his career. He's been a bullpen coach, he's been a first base coach, he's done a number of different things. And on top of that, he played parts of 11 seasons in the big leagues. So this is someone who brings playing experience, brings coaching experience in a number of different roles. I think that when you have a situation like we've talked about with so many first-time coaches and managers, bringing in a bench coach with this level of experience, I do think that was a smart move overall. What were your initial thoughts?
It's a smart move, and also Craig knows Randy, and they've had a relationship with back in Washington, so it's not like a brand new thing. And I'm pretty sure they trust each other.
Yeah.
Going over scouting reports back in the day, and it's going to be the same thing this way. So I think that one's a really good hire
Yeah.
for Craig to kind of help him out and ease him into being the manager role, because he could probably go to him and say, "Hey, am I doing things right, or this or that?" And he'll probably be like, "Yep," or "Nope," and help him out. So just like when you have your bullpen coach when you're out there pitching.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't fully know what exactly a bench coach does. I'll let you lay it out. What are the duties of a bench coach and what makes them so important to a staff?
He's kind of like your second manager. He's kind of like the right hand man to the manager. You kind of bounce ideas off what you're going to do here and there. It's kind of like the manager gets thrown out, then he's the manager. But it's kind of somebody to bounce some ideas off, because you're not in control of the pitchers, you're not in control of the hitters, you're kind of overseeing everything.
Yeah.
And it's one of the guys that you can bounce ideas off, because if you're talking to the pitching coach and you're like, "Hey, should I hit this guy?" Well, he doesn't know. He's the pitching coach. Or go to the hitter and say, "Hey, I think the hitting coach comes over and goes, 'You should put this guy into pitch.'" But it's kind of like the bench coach is kind of like that second manager, the kind of the co-pilot, helping the pilot lead, driving the bus in the right direction. So that's kind of what the manager does, and basically all the players' eyes is kind of the second manager and the guy that they're talking to back and forth and bouncing ideas off.
Yeah, and again, having that relationship with Craig Stammen, maybe just, again, understanding how each other likes to work, how each other thinks, that can go a long way to just making it an easier, smoother transition. And you see that play out over the course of games. Heath, when you look at the staff as a whole right now, Craig Stammen, Ruben Niebla as pitching coach, we'll see what his exact title is. He's going to get a new title. Steven Souza, Randy Knorr. Those are kind of the big four, right? Your manager, pitching coach, hitting coach, and bench coach. What do you make of that staff as a whole? We've talked about these guys as individuals, but when you look at this as a unit, what do you think?
Hopefully it's going to be a really good staff. I don't know. It's kind of it's a hit and miss. It's kind of like a motley crew. You just don't know. I'm high hopes because I know some of them, and I know they're smart, but it's just kind of I'm wishing for the best, but I just don't know until after I see them manage at least 3 months in the season, coach or manage 3 months in the season before I can really evaluate and say, "Hey, it was a really good hire," or "I don't know, it was." So.
Yeah, and again, I think you feel confident, right, with Ruben Niebla remaining on staff, that the Padres pitching staff will perform at a high level. Ben Fritz, the bullpen coach, as well, plays a big part of that. Again, with Randy Knorr, you have a reasonable amount of confidence that the players and coaches and managers will be prepared, the scouting reports, in terms of in-game strategy. He will be able to give good advice. He will help with the prep. He will be certainly a very valuable member of the coaching staff. Again, he was bench coach under guys like Davey Johnson, one of the best, most decorated managers of all time. Also guys like Matt Williams, who was a first-time manager, so he knows different dynamics, and I think that's important. Steven Souza was a power hitter. That was his game. That was who he was in the major leagues. We've talked about the Padres and their power needs. And again, power is not everything. You have to hit for average and power. It's not an either or. You have to do both if you want to be a championship team. But in order for the Padres to get where they need to be in terms of an offense, you need to add about 75 home runs to the total from last year. That would make them a top 6 in the majors in home runs, which is where all the most recent World Series champions were.
Well, just sign Kyle Schwarber and you'll be fine.
Require a lot of money, which they don't have. But I do think it's interesting going with a power. Victor Rodriguez was very much a contact-oriented coach. That's who was in Cleveland. That's who was with the Padres and had a lot of success. Again, the Padres, even last year, top 10 in the majors in batting average. And I don't need to tell you how many years the Padres could not make contact to save their lives, and it led to just a horrendous offense. So there was success there, but this is an interesting shift to me. Again, just the idea of going more power oriented, independent of the experience level. Do you think that might be the right move?
I think they're trying to do the right thing. I can't tell you if it's the right move or not
Yeah.
because it's really early,
Yeah.
but they're trying to, it's like, okay, guys have contact. We lacked power. We need to find a guy that's going to teach power. So, they went out and got him. So it's just, there, if you take a step back and look and go, okay, this is what they needed. They went out and got it. Now we just have to wait and see if it plays out and works.
I think the best way I would describe this coaching staff is it has potential to be a very good staff, right? We've talked about Ruben Niebla, we've talked about Randy Knorr, and look, you and I have both talked about Craig Stammen, tremendous baseball mind, natural leader, great communicator, all the things you need to be a good manager. He has the baseline foundation. Now it's just about experience. And again, Steven Souza, right? A guy who has played in the modern game, has had success, has had failures, understands what these players are going through day to day in a way that maybe someone who played 30 years ago doesn't have that first person experience. There's value there. So I think there's a lot of potential. Like you said, it's going to be about how quickly Stammen and Souza can get up to speed on some of the nuances and intricacies that you only really can master with experience. And you mentioned something earlier I want to go back to. For you, it's a 3-month learning curve. You give them 3 months, and if after 3 months you're not seeing the improvement, that's when you would sound the alarm bells?
That I would be like, okay, I don't know if we made the right decision. I'd start second guessing everything that they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's fair, right? You give him April, well, now end of
Here's
March.
the thing,
May,
for
June.
Craig, I think he needs to get thrown out in the first month. Just get it over with. Just argue one call and just go off. Just kind of just that's every first year manager. That's the big step when you're going to get thrown out. And I know managers don't get thrown out as much as they used to, but that was kind of the stepping stone for everybody. And I just think that all of a sudden everybody would rally behind him and just be like, all right, he's our guy, and just get it over with. The little things, the little nuance that managers got to do or coaches got to do, just get done in the first couple. Do it in spring training. I don't know, but I think by the third month, the end of 3 months after 90 days, you can kind of tell, is the team going in the right direction or not. So I really think it's going to take 90 days to kind of assess and go, hey, is the coaching staff there, or or am I going to start second guessing everything they just did?
That's an interesting point. Craig Stammen, get thrown out, get the team behind him. We've seen some managers do that very, very effectively. They stand up for their guys, maybe add some theatrics to it, and at the end of the day, it buys them some credibility. I think back to Mike Schilt against the Yankees, throwing the pen, throwing the glasses. That was one of the more eventful ejections I've ever seen. And look, the Padres got behind him, and we'll see what Craig Stammen has in store for his first career ejection. Every manager has one at some point. It's just a matter of when. We'll see what Craig Stammen's is. All right, Heath, we have one more break, and then I want to talk to you about the things we should be thankful for as we head into Thanksgiving. Despite all the turnover, despite the uncertainty, the Padres as a franchise do have a lot to be thankful for. We'll dive right into that after this word from our sponsors.
If you are still carrying a clunky leather brick that can be mistaken for an old school wallet, may I introduce you to what Eric Kratz is getting himself for the holidays?
I mean, this is the greatest wallet that I've ever seen in my life. Your credit cards fit in here. It's adjustable, lifetime guaranteed. Like this is a must-have for the holidays. Absolute must-have.
Ridge Olive Matte. That is the design that Kratz has right now, and you can get a hold of that. There's over 50 plus colors and styles to choose from over at Ridge. You can even get a wallet that features every NFL, MLB, or college team. And for a limited time, Ridge is having their huge Black Friday sale. Head to ridge.com/foul to get up to 47% off your order. This is by far the biggest discount they've given all year. That's ridge.com/foul for up to 47% off your order during their biggest sale of the year. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about Ridge. Tell them Foul Territory sent you.
All right, Heath, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, It's time to say what we are thankful for and what the Padres should be thankful for. Above all else, what do you think the Padres should be most thankful for this Thanksgiving?
So it's going to be interesting. So I really think the Padre fans and the Padres should be thankful for the Seidler family to come in and really dedicate, try to put a championship team together. And I know there's all these, are they going to sell the team or whatnot? And you could say some bad contracts or whatnot. But really, you had an ownership that has been and still is behind the team,
Yeah.
trying to do the best thing out there, putting a great product on the field, and really truly trying to win every year, even though a lot of teams say, a lot of owners say, we're going to try to win this year, and they're not. Where the Seidler family, pretty much ever since they came in, they've been trying to win every single year. So I'd be very thankful for them.
No question about it. I think from the Padres' perspective, the main thing that they as an organization should be thankful for, and I know they are thankful for, is the fans. The Padres are top 5 in attendance each of the last 5 seasons. And it's not like the fans are showing up and they're there, but they're leaving in the 5th inning, or it's a corporate atmosphere like you get in some places like Boston, for example, where it's a lot of people on their phones. They are standing, they are going crazy. It is rollicking. It is absolutely insane from the first pitch to the last. No one leaves early. And that's even been the case during the disappointing seasons in 2021 and 2023. This Padres fan base has shown up consistently. They have brought their best consistently. And they have turned Petco Park into one of the best home field advantages in baseball. And frankly, one of the envies of Major League Baseball. It's amazing how many other executives, league officials, players, coaches, anyone and everyone talks about how amazing San Diego is. You have an incredible ballpark in Petco Park, which has been there for the better part of 20 years. But what the fans have done, I have been amazed as someone who has covered this team for over a decade. Tuesday nights during the school year against Kansas City, sold out. Rainy days, rainy nights where you have to bundle up, they're there. It has been incredible to watch. And I think it's very, very important that the Padres and just the entire organization at large is thankful for their fans. They should be, and I know they are. And really, I think everyone involved in baseball, San Diego as a whole, is thankful for how the community has turned out and showed up again and again and again in support of this team.
Yeah, the fans love the Padres, and they're really true fans. They know everything about them, and they're passionate about their guys. They really are. And, I want to change my theory and thing and say, they should be thankful for the fans. But I think the fans are thankful for the ownership, and the ownership is thankful for the fans, and it kind of goes a full circle. And it's just it's a good place to be playing right now.
Absolutely, and we will see if that continues in 2026. Heath, before we wrap up, I also want to express what we are thankful for. First and foremost, I want to say I'm thankful for you for coming on to the show with me this year. This has been a blast. It's been fantastic having all your expertise and insight. And also, I am extremely thankful for all of our listeners, all of our subscribers. We have had a fantastic first year. We are excited to keep it going. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in from the start to now. And again, there's lots more good stuff coming. We have an exciting new co-host beginning next week in Marty Caswell. And once again, now is a great time to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave us a review. Head over to friarterritoryshop.com. We've got Black Friday deals. We've got gift cards. We've got everything. None of this would be possible without you, everyone who's watching and listening. We are very thankful for you as well.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's been awesome. Friar Territory is, talking about the Padres and really getting deep in, all the different situations. And it's just kind of renewed my passion for the game and watching the Padres. I mean, I was always a baseball fan and a Padre fan, but this year's been totally different. And it's just more exciting to talk about and, talk to fans about and go to the games and talk to them about the show and all that stuff. So thank you all.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Heath, thank you again for joining me as always. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. We will see you after.
Same to you. Bye.
All right, everyone, that'll do it for this edition of Friar Territory. Once again, go ahead and leave us a review, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, whatever platform you're watching and listening on. We would love to hear from you. For Heath Bell, I'm Kyle Glaser. We will be back next week. We hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving.